a near constant vigil next to pictures of the killed or kidnapped, as this has become a gathering place. This is the plaza in front of the Tel Aviv Art Museum, but people here now call this place Hostage Square. At the center, an empty Shabbat table. Nearby, a menorah for Hanukkah, a holiday celebrating a miracle with so many hoping for one soon.
I feel like they're my family.
Like Yarden Gonen, showing us to a dark tent filled with pictures of people who'd been at the Nova Music Festival on October 7th.
You can see also my sunshine here. This is Romy, my beautiful sister, one of them.
Romy's believed to be held captive in Gaza, along with dozens of others, including multiple Americans, some of their families meeting with President Biden at the White House today. If you could be there to speak on behalf of your sister, what would you tell him?
First of all, that she's my loved sister. This is what's important right now, to fight for their life, for the living. And I believe in him. I believe in his power. And we all know that he got the leverage on Qatar, on Egypt, on Israel, to change the way things are right now. And I'm seeking for his help. And I know we all are, especially the families that they have citizenship in the United States, but also us.
Gonen says other now freed hostages told them her sister's alive, but hurt after being shot in the hand. The push to get her home so urgent. It's now Gonen's full-time job.
I'm very afraid that the ones that holding her are a group of terrorists that want to use her and another women and men that over there as a war weapon. And I can only hope that she's okay mentally, and I feel her here. Yeah. I want to feel her here, please.
One of the things about that place that we just showed you, Hostage Square, on Saturday nights, there is a bigger vigil, and there are so many people. There are hundreds of people. There's video screens, and the last couple of Saturdays, in fact, since those hostages that Gonen just referenced have been released, you've actually heard some video testimonials from them. These people who had been in captivity now speaking about that experience, and perhaps most importantly, as they emphasize, delivering the message, please get the others out. That is such a focus for these folks, Tom.
That was such a compelling and a personal interview. You've covered this war, of course, from here, from the anchor chair in Washington since it started. Yeah. Talk about what it's like now to be on the ground and to be there firsthand in Tel Aviv.
I will say, Tom, just putting on sort of my D.C. hat as well, one of the things that's been striking as a sort of political correspondent coming in now to cover this war in Israel, between Israel and Hamas, is the way that so many Israelis that we've talked to are incredibly engaged with what's happening in the D.C. political landscape, incredibly engaged with everything that President Biden is saying, where Secretary of State Tony Blinken is, when are these visits happening by top U.S. officials to this region, because I think there are people here who have said to me, they feel like the U.S. has a lot of power in this situation. I think you heard Yarden, who you see here now next to me, talk about that, too, in our interview here, the idea that the U.S. could potentially have some leverage here in trying to get people to the negotiating table in order to try to come up with some kind of a temporary truce, another one to get some of these hostages freed. So that has been one of the striking things here. I'm also looking ahead to what's going to happen later this week, Tom, when we expect to see President Biden's top national security official, National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, come here to Israel to talk with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, to talk with members of the Unity War Cabinet. Interestingly, he's also in Saudi, and what we have heard now from our colleagues over on our White House team is that Sullivan is really trying to make the case that this should not escalate into a broader regional conflict, trying to make sure that this war doesn't escalate even further in the region. And Tom, as you well know, that has been one of the concerns since almost the minute this war began.
Yeah. Hallie, we'll be back with you at the top of the hour. Thank you very much. Great reporting.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.